Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike, Max, Patrick, Royce, Lou Nanny, assuming the big seat, and Sid Hartman. And, of course, it's been a week and a half now, Louis. We talked about it last week, but you were telling me you couldn't believe watching TV and listening to the radio, Dark Star. It's been all over it, and you're doing well.
Yeah, they really had a lot of coverage of him. I was very pleased to hear. I know CCO, they had the whole night that night, but all the TV stations, radio stations, I thought handled it very well and said so many nice things about him. He was quite a character, as all you know, and Patrick's got some fabulous stories about him, and it's going to be a guy that's sadly missed. It's amazing how fast these things happen, and you just are mystified why something like that happens, but you know, it happens, and before you know it, he's gone.
Patrick, you spoke yesterday at the Canterbury Park. It was a setting made for the horse community.
Oh, it was a beautiful morning and a nice turnout, and Canterbury did a good job. Yeah, it was
they did.
nice.
Yeah, it was a nice setup.
Nice.
And,
yes.
But it was just it said Dark Star, you know,
Yeah.
in the paddock, the characters that were there, everything.
Mm-hmm. And I found out why I ended up with that table sent to me. That he bought a table from an antique dealer in New Orleans, and somehow it ended up on my doorstep. And it's a long, convoluted story, and I think he spread the word that he bought the table for me, but all I ended up with was the box and the styrofoam that it was packed in. He ended up with the table.
I think you're still going to get the bill, too.
You might have an invoice coming there that you don't know. But Louis, you've always said you want your last check in life to bounce, and I don't know that Dark did, but he lived life like it was gonna.
Well, after Patrick says that he put a steam room in his apartment that he rents, I can't even believe that's possible. So he was really working towards it.
Oh, Sydney, what were you going to say?
Yeah, it doesn't seem the same here when you come here and he's not here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
When he walks in late all the time, tells you to be on time, and he's never on time
Well, that's
himself.
because he's getting dressed. That's because he was getting dressed up.
That's right.
Yeah.
He schedules a thing for 1 o'clock
He was trying to
here
figure
a couple
out.
weeks ago, and he shows up, he thinks it's 8:15.
He was
Yeah,
trying.
that was the
Well,
last
I
show,
did
yeah.
too. He was trying. He'd already had to figure out which twins hat to wear. So
Well, I was
it
just going to
wasn't an
say,
easy decision.
I was just going to say there's going to be really a drop in twins hat sales.
Yeah, whoever that guy is who sells twins
Wherever he
hats.
was buying those, that guy's going to really suffer.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You three characters can tell a character, though, can't you? He was one of them. We had three characters right here.
Yeah, he was something. I mean, who else goes in? He and another friend of mine, who I'm not going to mention, were going to go on a diet, and so they went for consultation. They started, and on their way back, they were so excited that they were doing so well. They said, "Let's stop over to Coney Islandburg," and they got 5 hot dogs each.
Yeah, when you're downtown St. Paul, you might as well stop in
Yeah.
at Coney Island.
Oh,
Well, he was a character. I mean, I'm going to miss him too. We disagreed at times, but the next morning, like I said, he always called me, let's have lunch, so what's going on? He didn't want anybody mad at him, and not too many people were mad at him. And I'll miss him. I walked in with Justin, and I says, where's Dark?
yeah. And by the way, just to clear this up, you're doing fine. Last week, some people thought because it was tough for you to get through that, but you're doing fine.
Well, I had a rough weekend. I had a
And it kind of all culminated there for a minute.
Pluto dying, and then the worst thing that happened to me, one of the worst things happening, I watched him doing CPR on a 6-year-old kid, and the kid died. And I didn't sleep for 2 nights. And that was so tough on everybody who watched this thing. And then the Dark thing, even though there were times we didn't get along, it really bothered me that I keep on seeing everybody I know dying.
It's amazing. And you keep going. You're like the Energizer Bunny.
Take a break, come back, talk about some of Dark's favorite sports and all our favorite sports when we come back on the sports show. Stay with us. There it is, locally owned, nationally known, and you were there, Patrick.
Got
just
the Phillies and the Brewers coming to town this week, so it's should be more full houses, I would think.
Yep, you had one more meeting over. I know you got together with the group there just to talk about Dark's affairs.
Yeah, we were there Tuesday. So, yep. But I'm, as I said, I'm down to 1 chop, Louis. I'm getting old. I can only do 1 chop anymore. I used to be a 2 chop guy, but I'm a 1 chop guy now.
But you take the second one home to nibble on a nut.
Well, I don't take that one home
No,
because
Sid takes that
my
one.
the dog used to appreciate the second one, but he's not.
Only restaurant in town with kosher pork chops.
But
You
you
would
don't eat
know.
them.
You would know. Hey,
Yes, sir.
what about Twins? Are you happy with them or not?
Well, they're playing pretty well right now. As of yesterday, they were 8.5 games behind. The division is not as good as everybody thought it's going to be.
Well, everybody thought it was going to be Detroit and everybody else.
Everybody thought Detroit was going to run away with it. Everybody thought the White Sox were going to be terrible. Cleveland surprised them. Kansas City, every year, they got the greatest prospects in the world, and nothing happens. Who knows? Maybe they could be 500 30 days from now.
Dempster was awful good today. He showed that if you got a ball that moves a little bit and you keep it completely out of the middle of the plate, and you find the umpire going to give you 3 inches on the outside
Oh, he did,
corner. He didn't give many hittable pitches today, but I think they've decided they're going to play Plouffe at third and Revere in right, and they got something that resembles the regular lineup now. And if they stay healthy, maybe they'll beat. I don't think they'll ever see 500, but I think they won't be the embarrassment we thought they were going to be.
At least they know who they are, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they at least know who they want to play now. They didn't know who they wanted to play for the first 2 months of the year.
What's the toughest sport to predict, Louis, going into a season?
What's tougher?
What's the
What's the
toughest sport
toughest
to
sport to
predict who's
predict?
going to win?
Well, I'd have to say football, because you don't have as many games and injuries play such an important part. Usually baseball, hockey, basketball, you got a long season and you don't usually you lose the best player or one of your best players for the whole year. Football, you don't have as much time as you can. So I would think football.
It's funny how a bad start in football is really, there's all these stats about if you start 0-2, you
Yeah,
miss
you're
the
done.
playoffs
Yeah.
88% of the time or something, so you're right. But I'd say when we get to the end, hockey's by far the toughest to predict once you get to the playoffs.
Well, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. If you even look at the games, the seventh game, odd goaltender means all the difference in the world. Seventh game playoff, it doesn't matter where they're playing it. Many times, the home team loses.
How about Los Angeles? Are they a big surprise?
No, because people forget that many experts, including the Hockey News, picked Los Angeles Kings to win the Stanley Cup. They started so poorly that it became a surprise. But they say, it's an 8th seed. But the last week of the season, almost, they could have been the 3rd seed, because if they win the division, they'd have flipped with Phoenix, and it got pretty close.
Louis, I hate the free point for the shootout. It drives me crazy, but it's amazing what it's done to bunch everybody up, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, it's
That's why you do it,
you
to sell
can't.
tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, you have 80% of the teams can say they finished over 500.
Yeah, it kills me.
And B, everybody's scrunched up at the end. Which is, I guess, what you're looking for, huh?
That's why they do it, because everybody knows. It's hard to figure out for the layman and say, well, how can you not have that many losses?
Thought we'd lost 12 in a row. What happened?
Bettman has done a pretty good job with that.
Well, yeah, you
They've done a real good job.
You know Bettman well. Tell me about it.
Well, he was kind of the brains in the NBA too for many, many years, and I think he's done a pretty good job. But he's got a tough contest now, doing business with that Donald Fair, who learned from Marvin Miller. Marvin Miller's theory was, like Patrick said earlier, you don't give in on
anything.
nothing. The sad thing is that division setup. If they went back to the division setup that they thought they're having, where the Wild would be in with Detroit,
Chicago.
and Chicago,
They'll have it
They'll
2
have
years
that.
from now.
be fantastic.
Yeah, they will
They won't
definitely
be
have
able to
that.
make it
They're only going to miss 1 year.
Yeah.
Like you just said, he wasn't going to give him anything for nothing, and that's why he didn't go along with it.
But that, to me-
that you can be guaranteed they will
To
have.
me, that is so important. First of all, people don't stay up till 12 o'clock
right.
to listen to the radio games. Now they'll all be on Central Time, and the traveling will be cheaper for them. Winning will be easier for them. They won't have the long trips and all that
Louis,
stuff.
are they going to go to 2 divisions in each conference or 3? Because the plan they had was 2 divisions in
They're
each
going to
conference.
go to 2.
8 and a 7,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're going to go to.
And 8 and
and
7.
what that does leave you, by the way, if they ever want expansion, no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
But everybody realizes that there are some markets they'd love to be in. One is Seattle, and another one's in Quebec. So they got those 2 that they could expand to if they're not moving teams.
Let's take a break. When we come back, will they play hockey next year? We'll ask Lou Nanne and Sid Hartman and Patrick Royce just that. Will there be a hockey season next year?
Yeah, well,
Ponder that, big guy. Stay with us. Yeah, stop on by. We liked our Q7 so well. Went and bought another SUV there last week. Bruce Bonine and the whole group. And just, you know Larry Lejeune.
Yes, he's
Louis,
a great,
it's your golfing buddy.
He's a great guy. He's a tremendous man. We go on a golf trip every August.
Yeah, good folks.
Where are you going this year?
We go Sutton Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
Where
nice
is it?
there. It's in South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Just about an hour from Pier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This is a
wonderful
group you
place.
go every year someplace?
Yeah.
What group is this?
Mike Doherty and Larry Lejeune and Pat Ryan and myself.
And you don't just
And,
stop and play
John
there.
Morrison, a
You
few
got
of
to
them.
arrange it ahead of time.
Okay, yeah, you don't just pull in?
No.
Pat Ryan from the construction company?
That's right.
Okay. All right.
He's a great guy, boy.
Yeah.
His brother, Joe Ryan, is a very close friend of mine, a very close friend of Kevin McHale's.
Yeah, good guys out there.
Yeah.
Where were we here before? Well, you think they're going to be in an NHL season next year or not?
I don't think there will be because
At all?
this guy is impossible.
Fear, you mean?
I mean, Bedman, here's June, they haven't done anything. I mean, what they're waiting for?
They've already scheduled meetings. They're going to meet right after the Stanley Cup's over. But as you said, it's still going to be tough. I don't expect them to start the season. I expect them to have a season. But I do think that negotiations are going to be real tough. I would anticipate that the National Hockey League wants to get down the revenue sharing to 50% like basketball and football has done. And I'm sure to get down there that you're going to see Fury is going to try and get real high revenue sharing, that the NHL doesn't have a real high level of revenue sharing like basketball might have
Sure.
and football. So that might be a real point of contention.
The one thing we've learned, Patrick, over the years, these work stoppages do nothing popularity-wise. I mean, people come back as soon as they start
You know,
playing.
the only one that really
Baseball
got
did pay
whacked
the
was
price,
baseball because they canceled the World Series.
Yep.
And people got very upset. The NHL lost the whole season, and
Nobody
people
remembers
didn't
it.
get that mad about not having the stand. I'm sure there was, but
The NBA
they didn't
last
take
year?
the same beating that that baseball did for not having a World Series.
Glenn Taylor told me that the Los Angeles Lakers, when they go into this new CBA revenue sharing thing next year, $50 million will be their share of revenue sharing.
That they have to pay, you mean?
Lakers, yeah.
They have to pay, but that tells
Lakers, you're talking about.
Lakers.
So what
Yeah.
does that tell you about how profitable
That's
they
what
are?
I'm saying, yeah. They're paying 50, and there's a lot of teams that are losing 30. That's why you got that revenue sharing like that.
And they're happy to pay 50 because they.
Well, they're not happy to pay 50.
No,
That's
but
going to
they'd
be the
rather have
problem.
that than.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay made more money last year in baseball than a lot of the teams because of the revenue sharing.
But this is where it's misleading. The New York Yankees had to pay out a lot, but they've got this television network they own, and it may not get, you can't attribute it to the baseball side of things, but they've got this big windfall. So the
But I don't
math
think
is
that
screwed up.
counts. I think it's strictly,
Oh, it counts.
maybe it
The
is.
regional
It counts.
TV money
Yeah.
gets divided. That's
Yeah.
regional TV money is the soul of baseball now.
But
Right.
but they get subscribers for 365 days a year to pay them, and a portion of that they delegate towards the rights fee.
Yeah, but you have to remember, these teams are getting sold, and a lot of them are getting sold on the multiples because of regional television. That's what really drove up the Dodgers' price. That's why Jim Crane bought the Houston Aeros, and that's what Astros, and that's why you got to look at hockey's going to have to, for the first time, really figure out how much they want to pay and who's going to be paying and who's going to be receiving. Because
Okay. How many teams, what teams would pay the big money? Outside of Detroit, outside of the Blackhawks, outside the Rangers, who are big?
Well, you got the wrong ones there because Detroit doesn't make any money unless they make the playoffs. Blackhawks weren't making money till last year. Even the year they won the Stanley Cup, they
Who's
lost
gonna
money.
pay the revenue sharing?
Well, it's the Rangers,
Toronto?
Philadelphia, Toronto, Boston. All the
Montreal?
Canadian teams are doing pretty well.
Montreal?
Yeah, they're all the Canadian teams, and these gates are just astronomical.
How's our dollar now with Canada? About
Very
1 to
close.
1? 1 to 1?
Yeah, you
now?
might as well count them 1 to 1.
Yeah.
The way it
Boy,
fluctuates.
that has changed. I mean, the Canadian
Man.
teams. You
Remember
probably
that?
still have teams in Quebec and the original team in Winnipeg if it wasn't for
Yeah.
the Canadian
You're right.
dollar, right?
Yeah, you were down to almost 49
60
cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a big problem they got in the football league. Jerry Jones,
They have no problems in the football.
Yeah.
We want their problems.
right? At this point, they got a lot of clubs fighting that revenue sharing. And I'll tell you, almost got the votes to not have revenue sharing.
Well, this guy here should probably be fighting it too, because once his stadium opens, he's going to be walking to the bank every day with satchels full.
I'm just telling you,
Well,
Jerry,
that's why I'm
Jerry
saying
Jones,
hockey's
the
gonna have a problem.
Washington guy,
Yeah.
and several Denver, every year it's touch and go on that revenue sharing in the National Football League.
That's why I'm saying the problem is going to be when they even negotiate this in hockey. The hockey guys don't want to give it up right now. They haven't given it up, so obviously they don't want to go there.
New Jersey got a chance to win this thing?
Yeah, they outside chance. I doubt it. LA, even the game that they got beat last night, they hit 3 pipes and one crossbar, and they outplayed New Jersey.
The highlight of the Stanley Cup so far, Maxie, was the porn star sitting behind the glass, behind the New Jersey bench during the game 5 or game 4. And did you see that?
No, I
they
must
caught
have missed
Peter
it.
DeBoer. They caught Peter DeBoer, the coach.
You were there?
taking a peek.
No, I wasn't there. No,
It's on the YouTube.
I was in church that day. And I was-
Yeah,
I was in
that's
church.
right.
Who you kidding?
Take a break, come back, finish up. Yeah, Franklin Street Bakery congratulates the class of 2012. Perfect place to stop on in and get your goodies this summer if you're having a graduation party still on the docket and much more. Wayne Kostrowski and his crew say congrats to all of those graduates in 2012 and good luck going forward. Franklin Street Bakery.
High school graduation, Louis. Were you already gone out of the Sioux by then? Or did you graduate from high school up there?
I graduated from high school up there.
Up there.
Yep.
The summer after high school graduation is probably the best time of anyone's life.
You know what? That is so true. That is so true. That is as
Why
good as
is
some-
that?
Well,
You don't have a job.
If you have to
because
ask.
you feel
You
like
have
you
to
should,
ask.
you feel like you should get something out of the way before you get on with your
You don't
life.
go to college, you don't have a job. Why is it the best?
That's why.
If you gotta
Exactly.
ask, man.
What could be better than that?
Yeah, no job. You can. The old man still feels sorry for you. You get some cash out of him. It's great.
We said
Yeah,
graduates.
some of the old
so
men don't-
graduates.
Graduate.
Some of the old men don't give cash, so
That's right, man.
don't have cash to give.
I don't think Zach Parisi's coming here.
I didn't think he was coming here, but I talked to Craig Leopold on Wednesday night, and I'm telling you, my attitude has changed. I think he's going to go after Zach harder than any other team in the National
We can go
Hockey League.
after him. I just don't think Zach would.
When I say I go after him, I mean with more money than any other team. And
How high can he go?
he can go high.
They got
How
plenty
high?
of cap money. They got plenty
The
of
cap next year is probably going to be around 69 million, 70 million. So he can go. He can
It
go
would be
well over
nice.
10. Over 10.
Well, can't the Rangers go 10?
Rangers won't go 10.
They won't do that?
No.
But here's the deal.
How about Detroit?
No.
I hope he's smart enough. Apparently, Leopold's smart enough to know they're in trouble. That they gotta give the fans something beyond Michael Granlund.
Yeah.
They got to give the fans some reason to renew their tickets. And
Well,
He's
I
the only
dis-
thing, right? I mean, there's
no,
nothing else out there to.
I disagree with you guys. You're forgetting that they had a decent club till December 14th when they were healthy. And then you're getting 7 kids probably are going to be coming out of junior and European leagues and colleges that have a chance to help the team. They are going to go after, definitely, I think, will sign some new free agents.
Okay, if not
whether
Parisi,
Zach or not.
who would be next on the list?
Well, Ryan Suter's next. He's
they
going to
get
be
him?
next.
the defenseman.
Yeah.
They got a real good chance to get him. He played for Leopold. You know, that's where he started his
but
career.
you don't play for an owner. You play.
No,
for,
but Louis, what I'm
But hold
saying
it.
is,
you're going to get a lot of money. You're from Madison, Wisconsin, where Suter's from. They're going to have a decent club here. They've got a lot of good young talent. You know, you don't win this thing overnight. And these guys aren't making a deal for today or tomorrow. Their contracts are not going to be for 2 years or 3 years. They're going to be 5 years or 7-year contracts, at least.
the big guys.
The big guys.
Yeah.
but I'm saying if you want
in that time period, they show they're going to be
if
better.
you want enthusiasm for this, maybe by December you'll be
He's
good
talking about
enough,
the
you'll
buzz
have
for the team,
enthusiasm.
you know?
I'm talking about July, August, and September. Getting people fired up before the season starts. All the
agree.
public
Yeah.
knows.
You're Mr.
All the public
Optimism.
knows is that all the public knows is they've missed the playoffs 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
So.
And so did Chicago for 5 years. And
Yeah.
so did the
Yeah,
Rangers
but
for 5 years.
That's not
This ain't
the way
Chicago.
we think.
Trust me, I realize that, but there's
trust
one
you.
big difference. Hockey's got a real good cult following,
Yeah.
more so than any sport except football. And that group of people, the hardcore group will buy it. They'll buy tickets.
Well, I was with 3 Big Wheels the other day, And one thing that came up is they look on their desk and they got season tickets for the Vikings, season tickets for the Wild, season tickets for the Timberwolves, and for the Twins. And they got a lot of season tickets that weren't used, and they're not buying them all next year. And the Wild was one of them that not buying, will buy every game. Timberwolves too.
They'll lose 3 fans then.
Huh?
Then they're going to lose 3 fans.
They're going to lose a
I
lot
was
of
with
other
3
fans.
guys last week that never bought tickets last year for the Wild. They're so excited about these young guys coming in that all 3 are going to buy season tickets.
The Twins are
You're
gonna
Mr.
lose
Optimism.
6 or 7,000. The Twins
I'm
are going
sorry.
to lose 6 or 7,000.
You mean season ticket base? Yeah, and it'll become an easier.
So all you people who are having fun with that secondary market and are saying, what is it going to be like next year? They're not going to be as cheap because you're going to have to go to the box office because there aren't going to be as many people trying to get rid of their season tickets.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's a season
Yeah.
ticket. There's people that are selling.
Yeah, the
first,
people.
right?
The reason you go on StubHub and buy a $80 ticket for $20 is because it's a season ticket holder trying to dump them.
Huh, that's true.
Next year, you won't have that many season ticket holders. You won't have as many.
Sid, we only got 30 seconds left, but your thoughts on the European leagues and the influx of talent?
I don't know anything about that.
Euro soccer? Euro soccer?
There, man. He
Spain and Italy 1-1 today.
Well, I know who you're rooting for.
The motherland.
You know it.
The motherland got an upset tie with Spain.
Louis,
We're
thanks for
getting
sitting
better.
in. Appreciate it very much. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. The Sports Show every Sunday night.
You're
Right
Mr.
here.
Optimism.